So I'm the marketing and communications manager.
I'm a volunteer driver for Meals on Wheels and have been for the past 4.5 years.
So I'm a mover, so that would either be usually a driver and usually a truck driver.
A couple days a week, I come in and help with the children's programs.
At the beginning, I started helping them with the events, an event planner, just helping them with a lot of stuff. Then I became an interpreter. That's what I do right now.
Just kitchen prep and clean up. Help a little bit with the meal prep.
My volunteer role here is I really enjoy doing benchmarking and tutoring aspects.
Yeah, so here as a volunteer, I am a hospital ambassador.
Papers, migrations, refugee, newcomers, volunteer English program, workshops, job search, anything. So
I'm part of the youth chefs and residents. I help kids kind of learn how to cook and just do recipes. So I'm the events associate at KidSport.
We help newcomers find accommodation.
Started volunteering for stroke because I had a stroke and I wanted to offer something that wasn't offered at the time when I had my stroke years ago.
Well, I retired in 2018, and at the time, my daughter and my girlfriend were both working here in the craft room and talking about how many people they had and stuff, so that it was busy, so I decided I'd volunteer in the craft room.
Initially, I started because I was required to volunteer for my school hours. And I really do understand why they do it, because it's a good idea for getting people involved with the community when they might not otherwise.
I'm a student at PURCELL College. I study broadcasting performance and digital media, so I had to do this assignment and interview some people related to refugee, right? So I got here and I interviewed some of the people who work here. And they told me about this opportunity for being a volunteer.
I have the time. That's number one. I have the time and I'm retired. So the first thing I wanted to do was start giving back to the community.
It's a very important part of life. I don't know. Yeah, you start volunteering because you integrate with the community, and if you have a heart at all, you want to help people that are either younger than you, so you can help build them up, or less capable, right?
I started volunteering because when I had suffered my brain injury and stroke, the program wasn't available at that time.
Personally, it was actually a placement. I'm in the Rec and Leisure Services at Conestoga. That's just my program. My placement, I was just asking if I could work with seniors, and they placed me here. So it was actually a good fit.
Getting involved in definitely the patient care field has been a really big passion of mine. I've always enjoyed creating connections with people and making a difference, especially during vulnerable times that they may be going through.
I feel like, this is the time to give back and start helping the newcomers.
For me, I would say when we came in, we got help from the community, and we thought now that we have been here and lived for a while, it's time to give back. So we just wanted to volunteer.
So I started volunteering essentially to honor my parents who were refugees themselves of the Vietnam War. So I started volunteering. I moved to Waterloo for school, and then I was here over the summer because I got a job, and a lot of first years went back home for the summer. So I was kind of looking for a way to get involved and meet people, but also to gain a little bit of a different type of experience that's kind of related to what I want to do. So it's definitely at the front of the hospital, one of the scariest parts. And leaving could be the best time or the worst time for people. And so I do see myself, while I volunteer especially, creating close connections with patients coming in and out and helping them with their journey through the hospital.
At the beginning, you think or you want to change the world. You think you're doing something like huge, or you want to do something huge. You just give 1 hour, 2 hours of your time, and you think it's not enough, you know. But that's the whole world for them. Just to have someone to help them with the translation, just to have someone to speak with for 1 hour in their own language.
Stories of how people benefit from it, but from my point of view, they come and they eat, right? They get food, right? And you know, some of the people that come and get food look just like I look, right? So it's like, and as a matter of fact, some were my suppliers, right? So it's like, you know, by the grace of God go I, but then, you know, so they just do it, and you see people being fed, and it's great food.
We are volunteering in the organization. In that kind of organization, you only don't bring help or support of one person. You bring support for many people around the community. Somebody coming here or say was something about you need some support, you can say, okay, for example, in my experience, the English conversation program say you can share many experience, and that person can share another experience with another people, and that impact the community. They say, oh, they have that program, or you have this program, or she is participating in that program. I think so it's a huge impact for the community. We can talk around the community and know all the experience involved to the community.
So when I'm within the classes, you can see how the people interact with each other. They actually do enjoy each other's company, and the funniest thing is, like I said, one of my jobs, sometimes I'm putting in events, and when I'm putting in events, I'll see a lot of the same names appear. She's a lady, and she's very nice, and having her, it's always good, and you can see that when you're around her, she's enjoying that your company's there. So the fact that I know that my presence is adding towards this community of enjoyment, that's what I like to think. That's what I like to think for my contribution to the community is people learning to enjoy themselves even more.
Coming from some really hard situations, hard places, foreign countries, I guess they have seen a lot of hardships already, and to be someone to help them is very human. It's humanity, I think. That's the reason we volunteer.
And I was speaking with the person who nominated Kids For, and I was like, oh, like, how did you hear about the organization? Like, what made you decide to support Kids For? And she told me that because of Kids For, she was able to play hockey growing up. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, that's awesome. And I grew up playing hockey, so I know, like, the experience that gives and what it's like. And it's just great to see that because of us, someone in their childhood was able to be a part of a really awesome sport and a team. And
I get to see the impact on the life of children that I volunteer for and families. Relieve the stress off the family a little bit by tutoring and mentoring these children and helping them, guide them toward the positive lifestyles and helping them with their schoolwork. So it would benefit the child's future, which in turn would benefit the community as a whole in the future as well.
Right? I used to chop onions into little bits and slices, and then they'd be laying around there, and all that gas would go directly into my eyeballs. But now, Helen taught me how to cut onions properly. And so, you know, very first thing, you chop them in half, put them face down, right? And then you slice them, and then you take the skin off, and then you chop it in. So much better.
I think I've become better at packing a truck for sure. I'm putting the skills I learned in playing Tetris, which my mom said would never amount to anything, and now I'm using it for stacking a truck. Just safer ways to lift stuff. There's been some packing tips that I've learned from clients, like watching. Just everyone's got a different way of packing up their stuff, right? But there's been some ingenious ways of, like packing clothes, like you keep them on the hanger and put a bag over them and shove the hangers through the bag and then tie the bag at the bottom so everything's like you just grab a stack of hangers and everything's included. So that's been great.
I have more empathy than I had before for people that are in a predicament like having a stroke. I would say maybe just the way I talk to people has improved. I'm not so sarcastic anymore as I used to be.
When I volunteered in the craft room, I didn't necessarily use my nursing skills. Then I learned new things. How to do crafts, for instance.
Talk with kids a lot and talk with other people. I do think that I'm becoming, once again, like I've mentioned, more confident in talking, and I feel like I'm a more social person. Even though I would say I was extroverted to begin with, I was still kind of in a shell. Now I feel like I am easier to talk with.
Yeah, this is my big story because after 25 years I returned to the college, and now the volunteer time is my real experience job time in Canada. So the volunteer gives me the opportunity to know anything around the organization, anything around the papers, anything around the people. So they bring me a lot of experience, a lot of learning the new tools, everything for the community. That is amazing. Yeah.
A little bit of patience and understanding.
I'm going to start off by saying I think you need to learn, and I have learned, a great deal of patience.
But I think I've become more patient.
Yeah, language, because you're always improving. So if you practice more, if you speak more, getting into a new country, you're always looking for your people in your language. So it's always good to keep your way on learning more English, improving it, practicing.
I think we have learned a few languages, beginners courses, I guess, like Arabic, and I think that's the one. Yeah. And I think for me it's been more development in my personal skills, dealing with people, understanding their problems, sometimes and where they're coming from, right? Because sometimes I see a picture maybe in red and yellow, but probably they're seeing it in green and blue.
Tons of relationships, lots of friendships have come out of it. Before COVID, a lot of us even just would meet for coffee or at the park, that sort of thing, or do a shout out online saying, I'm going to Waterloo Park at 7 o'clock for a walk. Want to come? And people show up with their dogs, and they just want to hang out with you. It's a fun community of people that get what you're going through.
Well, there was a lady that that's on my route. We were delivering meals, and her daughter picked her up, and she went to the hospital. So right away, I wanted to even call her neighbor just to make sure that she was okay. And I just felt bad that she was in the hospital. I just wanted to make sure that she was going to be okay. I'm hoping to be able to deliver to her today.
Sat in the fitness room for the last 2 hours of my shift, and just these two regular seniors that come into work out every day, and they love to gab at each other. I guess smack talk each other, right? They like to just chirp at each other a little bit. So when you hear it, it's funny. Sometimes they're listening to music, and they'll be like, "Turn that garbage off. We're listening to this next time." And you're like, "Did he just say that out loud? Did she just say that?" And then you're thinking, but here they are. They're just laughing at each other. They're like, "Ah ha ha ha." They're like, "We're not going to listen to this," and they're just making fun of one another. And to them, that's how they enjoy each other. So to me, seeing that regularness of comfort was probably my best day.
There's been a familiar face come through. Actually, there's been a few familiar faces come through. People I've played hockey with, people I went to school with. And that's a real reality check, right? And there was one, and actually I had seen him multiple times around town. I played baseball with them, I played hockey with them, they were in the same school. I could kind of see how a series of events and consequences led to something very unfortunate for this individual. But yet, when I saw him in town, he was always so polite and nice and like full of bright energy, right? And I just saw so much hope for him, right? And he would, whenever we were serving dinner, he would always make a point to come back over and like say an extra thank you to everybody in the kitchen. And he just had a really bright heart, you can see that. Anyways, I haven't seen him for a while, so I'm hoping that's a good thing.
Honestly, I have made so many connections through Shelter Movers with other people. I don't know if I could just single out one. So, we have an amazing team full of, we have movers and drivers. I have people on the marketing team that I regularly collaborate with. We have people from the operations team who are kind of behind the scenes for scheduling moves and liaising with our clients and with referral agencies. And there's just so many amazing people that I've been able to connect with, and they've all made such a big impact. It was just amazing to see that, we started off with a small group of volunteers, and then we were able to just keep expanding and, reach different audiences and make more connections in the community to the point where we had our official launch party, and it was virtually through Zoom. It was still amazing to see. I think there was like members of parliament, I believe, and community members and other small business owners, and just seeing everyone together was so amazing, just celebrating the launch of Shelter Movers.
One thing I do when I go into somebody's personal space is it's really like it's a 4x4 bed space. I try to find something that tells me something about you. And this gentleman had on a cross ring. So I knew he had a pretty big job. And we were talking, and he said, I'm not going to be able to work. And I said, you have the biggest boss out there. I don't think you're done.
We had a move. We had a resettlement move, we call it. So we're taking stuff out of storage and bringing it to a client's house, a new home. And I was moving stuff out of storage, and I'm like, this stuff looks familiar. And I think I've done, why is this looking familiar? And when I saw the client, I went, oh, it was the very first move that I did. Was we were moving her out of her house, and she was going to a shelter, and we put the stuff in storage. So then I saw, I just took that move full circle and moved the stuff out of storage into her house, and saw her happy, and her child's getting the stuff back, and so that was a good one.
One of the fellows that one person that I visited, a guy that I visited at his hospital bed, who couldn't speak or walk or anything. He was confined to his bed. Years later, he came to volunteer himself, and he was walking just fine and talking just fine. And he said the reason he wanted to do it was because of me coming to visit him in the hospital, which really got me right there,
I remember there was this girl who came in a couple months ago, and I remember her coming in like very, very frightened, like very visibly shy and frightened, and understandably so, because she knew actually no English, any of the other kids' languages as well. It was really difficult to get her to play with us. She was just like to herself, and so I remember the first day I met her, all I did was sat next to her, and just as a gesture of care, and I didn't put any pressure on her to come play, and then that was it. And then I remember the next session invited her to play with just me, and she was up for it, so it was really cool to see the progress, because it was the first time I saw her smile. We were playing like a very simple game, like just trying to get a ball into a cup. So I started to see like a little bit of, cheer in her face, so that was really great.
The one that sticks in my mind, mostly because of her age, when I was in the craft room, there was a lady, she was 104, and she would walk down the hallway from the suites to the craft room, sit down at the quilting rack, and quilt with good stitches at 104. So it's nice to be able to provide opportunities for people to keep doing things as they get older.
But there was one case that really touched me, because I could say that I'm not too sensitive, but knowing about this case just made me sad, and I was happy to help them because they need it. That's it.
Just try, just involve, just lose the feel, oh, that I think so, that's not good for me. No, everything can be good for you. You need to try. Probably in the first instant you say, oh, that's no, but you can know if there is your opportunity for grow up.
Just to have fun with what you're doing, and remember that people are there on your side, and it's okay if you have questions, and please make sure to ask them.
Be open to the work, because you just don't know.
Enjoy what you're doing. You know, get to know your clientele.
I guess if you have something to give, this is the time and this is the place to give to the community. If you have time, if you have contacts, if you have resources.
Honestly, just say yes to any opportunity that comes up. It can be super intimidating, and I was very intimidated, but the more that you say yes, the better you feel after.
I think that maybe people who are able to do this without getting any kind of profit, it's very valuable, and I encourage them to do it and keep doing it, and not only get involved in one experience, maybe they apply for more, right?
Don't be afraid to do it the first steps, right? It's the first steps that are the hardest because you're always just thinking about it. You're like, oh, I should do it. I know it would be a good idea, but you end up not doing it. And there's a lot of reasons to be nervous. That's fair. Like you don't know who you're going to meet. You don't know what the workload's going to be like. You don't know. You just don't know, right? So it's a fearful situation to walk into. So I would say, like, just don't be afraid. Take those first steps and just do it. And know that everybody loves volunteers.
I would say that enjoy this time, that it's going to help you in every personal life, and it's going to be a really good experience for them.
100% be yourself. Don't be closed in and kind of like stand off to the side. This is like a free judgment zone, so like it's really nice to just kind of be outgoing, and this is your time to just like be yourself.
Over and above, the good feeling you get from volunteering. There's been experiences with shelter movers that I would have never done up.
We suffer in different ways because we're lonely, right? And the way to connect is to give, right? And you let that, right? And that's how you connect. It makes everybody's life more rich, right? So.
I wish everyone the best of luck with all the